Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Daughter of Increase. My name is NayDenise. For those of you who are new to the channel or who just happen to stumble across this video, and I am the founder and CEO of Daughter of Increase Ministries, that is DOI Ministries, and here on this channel I help you guys to increase in your faith and relationship with God and Christ through Bible studies, book reviews, discussions, and more. And I do that by posting twice a week, every Wednesday and Saturday, and occasionally on Tuesdays. And today's video, as the title says, is going to be the Meet the Booktuber tag, which is an original tag created by Christy from over at Grace Field Reads. And I am so excited to be doing this video. Now, originally I wanted to do this with the backdrop and having the books in hand, but if you guys saw my previous video, you guys know I did have my neurologist appointment and I'm starting a new regimen and things like that, and so I really didn't want to make the video but I still wanted to make the video. Like, I wanted to do the video, but I didn't want to have to put everything up, pull all the books out and everything like that, because I just wasn't up for that. But I still wanted to make the video, and so I figured, why not do a cozy style video like this where I have me and iced coffee that I made. And before anybody asks, because I talked about the migraines, yes, my doctor, my neurologist, has approved me still having coffee and chocolate and ice cream, even though I have migraines. For me, they do not trigger, they actually alleviate. So I am allowed 2 cups of caffeine, 2. So I typically will have 2 cups of iced coffee, or a hot cup and then a cold cup. And then I can have like a tea in between if I want, like a black tea in between if I need. So yeah, this is literally the only cup of coffee I've had all day. This is the Nespresso Frito Delicato, I believe it is called, with the Monin syrups and cupcake, as well as lavender, mixed with the Cold Stone Sweet Cream Creamer from International Delight. No sugar. I pretty much have been mixing sugar from out of my coffees for the past like 2-3 weeks, so it is shaken. I put it in a shaker and shook it up, so darn delicious. Couple of ice cubes in there. But yes, I have on this cozy robe that I got from Walmart. It's called a super minky robe. I don't know if it's made of mink, don't really care. I just know that it's extremely soft and cozy. And I also have my winter blanket out, so we're here to be cozy and comfy, and all my teddy bears on the back, all my squishmallows. But we're here for the video. So I have all the questions here. I'm going to answer them, and any books that are required will be popped up on the screen here. And so we're going to dive right in. If the camera shakes, I apologize. I am in the bed. So yeah. But so the first question is, how do you decide the genre of books to read? How do you find out what you like or love? So how do you decide the genre of books to read? I guess I decide by trying books. I mean, I don't know how to really answer that question, so I'm just going to go to the one that says, how do you find out what you like or love? I guess that was just by figuring out what I enjoyed in school. I pretty much more so enjoyed a lot of the fantasy novels from school, and so from reading all the fantasy books in school, I realized that fantasy was the genre that I loved the most. And also when I was like in middle school, I read a lot of romances. And so I knew that romances and fantasy novels were like the 2 big genres that I loved. And so anything that included a little bit of fantasy, anything that included romances, I loved. So I didn't mind reading historical fiction as long as it had romance or fantasy. So I can read a historical fantasy, or I can read a historical romance, right? And so hope that answered that question. Question number 2, what author is most like you? Now this may come as a surprise to some, but not to most of you guys, because if you follow me, you should know. I'm gonna say Miss Tessa Afshar. The reason being is because I have gotten a chance to communicate with her plenty of occasions, because I've been on multiple lunch teams with her, and so I have gotten a chance to meet with her, chat with her. I've gotten a chance to take her Bible studies. I've gotten a chance to just really sit and talk with her, and she reminds me of a quiet storm, and that's what I'm referred to as a lot, is a quiet storm. And the way that she speaks, the way that she carries herself, the way that she conducts herself reminds me of myself. And so yeah, Miss Tessa Afshar for me. So question number 3 is, if you were stranded on an island or farm, what book would you take? For me, it would have to be a fantasy. It would have to have some romance. It would have to have some faith aspects. It would have to have a little bit of suspense, mystery vibe to it. So I'm gonna go with this book here. Cannot think of the name of this book, but I know it's a part of the Weaver trilogy by Miss Lindsey A. Franklin. This book, okay? This book right here, I would take the whole trilogy, but it says I can only take a book, so I would take the first book, because the first book was so good. So good. Loved it. I think the first book was like a 4.5, 5-star book. Top tier, delicious book, okay? So I would take that book. So, yeah. So moving on to question number 4. Do you like getting books to read them, or because they are beautiful to go on the shelf? And so, as much as I would like to say I get them because they're beautiful, it's a lie. I like to get books to read them. I don't got enough shelf space in my room. Y'all can tell from like previous videos when y'all see the backs of like my bookshelf. I got books stacked on top of stacked on top of stacked. She ain't got the space, okay? So, we get books to read them, not because they're beautiful. Now, on occasion, I do typically, sometimes, on accident, get doubles of books. And typically, if I do, I will keep the prettier version for my shelf. Typically, what I do. But all the books on my shelf, I keep to read them, not because they're beautiful. Question number 5. What book could you have read 10 years ago that could have changed your life? If you see me looking this way, I have my bookshelf over here. I'm going to go with 2 books. 2 books. And the first one is going to be The Robe. But I think Lloyd T. Douglas. I think that's his name. This book here, so beautiful. This, I classify it as biblical fiction. I'm not sure if it's classified as biblical fiction. More so probably like Christian historical fiction. But it's kind of a retelling of like the story of the man that may have won the robe of Jesus. If you guys know the story of when they had to cast lots for the garments of Jesus's clothing. This would have been like the story of the guy that won the garment and maybe have felt the presence of Jesus when he took the garment and wore the garment and things like that. So profound, so eye-opening, so beautiful, so wonderful. I loved every piece of that story. That story just broke me to pieces. I have read that story a total of 2 times, I think. I definitely need to reread it again. I wish I probably could reread it before the end of the year. I might make it my December read, honestly. So beautiful, so beautiful. But yeah, definitely that book, for sure. But the second one, definitely hands down, would be Redeeming Love by Miss Francine. This I can connect to on so many levels. So if you haven't seen my testimony video, quickly gotta go watch that. But yeah, that's all I can say about that. All right, so moving on to question number 6. It says, if there were only 3 books in the world, what would they be? Or top 3 genres. And so for this, I'm gonna do both questions. Top 3 genres. First one, fantasy, hands down. I don't care what kind of fantasy, whether it's worldly fantasy, whether it's Christian fantasy, fantasy in general, I eat it up. I love a good fantasy book. Don't care. Fantasy is number 1. Number 2, biblical fiction. Give me a good biblical fiction. I'll eat it up. I'll cry. I'll scream. I'll rant. Love a good biblical fiction. Number 3, I'm gonna say adult contemporary romance. Yeah, I love a good romance. Romance is just, it has my heart. Because romance can go really hard-hitting. It can be comical. It can be sweet. So, yeah, adult contemporary. I don't really care for YA contemporary romances anymore. But adult, yes, we love. So that's that. But if there were only 3 books in the world, what would they be? Okay, so I'm gonna throw all 3 books across my face. Okay, so the first, definitely for a fact, I'm gonna try to give 3 different genres. Okay, try. So fantasy, definitely Mark of the Raven. If I could do a whole trilogy, I would, but Mark of the Raven for fantasy. Historical fiction, because that's a genre I don't really do. I can't think of the name, but I know the first book is by Miss Elizabeth Camden. That book, which is the second picture that's popping up right now. And then the final book, I'm trying not to repeat books either. So, oh, the final book is gonna be I'm gonna tie these 2 together. So I'm gonna find a way to put these 2 together, even though they're technically 2 different books, but I feel like they go hand in hand. Isaiah's Daughter and Isaiah's Legacy by Mesu Andrews. Yeah, these 2 go hand in hand. It's 5-star, both of these books. Love these books to tier. I said to tier? What? That was not proper English. But I love these 2 books. For sure. These 2 are amazing. So yeah. Mark of the Raven, this book by Elizabeth Camden, because I can never remember the name of this first book for anything. I just can't remember the name of it. And then Isaiah's Daughter and Isaiah's Legacy. Those will be my 3 books. So yeah. So okay, moving on to question 7. If you could write a book about anything, what would you write about? And so honestly, I'm actually writing a book. I'm writing a few books actually. Which yeah, so the thing about it is working on a devotional book. But what I would like to do is write a contemporary romance that's Christian, and also a biblical fiction someday. But I definitely want to write first my devotional book, and then write a poetry book, and then dabble into my contemporary romance. So yeah, that's that. Question number 8, what character do you think is most like you? What character do you think is most, and I'm looking this way because again I'm looking at my shelves. I don't know. So many great books on my shelves that I really can't pinpoint. I don't know. So if you guys read any books of characters that you think remind you of me, let me know, because I don't know for myself. So I don't know. I can't answer that one. Number 8 has got me stuck. Don't know. Number 9, how do you plan out your booktube content? Honestly, I watch booktube channels and try to figure out ways that I can either 1, relate it back to Christian content, or 2, how I can recreate that content. So like what I mean is, if I'm watching another Christian booktuber channel, how can I replicate this video for my channel? Okay, so if they're making like a top 10 Christian fantasy books, okay, well, what Christian fantasy books do I have that I can do a top 10 Christian fantasy books, right? Now, if I'm watching a regular booktuber's video and they do their top 5 contemporary romances or something like that, okay, well, let's look on my shelves and see what kind of books I have on my shelf. How can I change that video or tweak it or something like that? Pretty much I try to find videos that I can either recreate or replicate to suit this channel, because obviously this channel is a Christian based channel and I want to focus on Christian books. However, I have started thinking about including my non-Christian books, because people ask me all the time, do I read secular books? And I do. I have a ton of books that I read that are not like Christian books. I read a load of fantasy books, like lots of fantasies. And I mean, I read fantasies that you know, that are by Brandon Sanderson, that are by Jen Lyons, that are by Evan Winters, right? By a whole lot of authors, Holly Black, you know, a lot of people that some people may think I don't read because all you guys see on my channel are Christian books. But I'm thinking of just including a few non-Christian books here and there. We'll see how I feel about that. But again, I'm digressing. How do I plan on my booktube content? I scour YouTube, scour Instagram, figure out what content I want to add, how it relates to my channel, how I can make it relate to my channel, and do that. I hope that answered the question. But yeah, okay. Number 10. If you were dying, what book would you read to the world? Hands down, y'all should know. If you know me, if you've been on my channel long enough, if you know me, if you've been on a Daughter of Increase channel long enough, Pearl in the Sand. Pearl in the Sand by Miss Tessa Afshar. I will always go back to this book in some form or fashion when it comes to any type of booktube related video like this. This book will forever be a book that I feel like I have to share with the world. It has changed my perception on a lot of things. It has changed my outlook. Perception and outlook are definitely the same. It has changed the way I see things. It has opened up my heart. It has allowed me to soften myself. And I feel like more people should read it. And everybody that I've told to read this book has bawled their eyes out. So I will forever recommend anybody who is new to reading Christian fiction or biblical fiction to read this book first, because it will rip your heart out, okay? But yeah, definitely Pearl in the Sand by Miss Tessa Afshar. The new updated version, of course, because you can no longer get the old version anymore. I am blessed enough to be able to have both copies. But yeah, definitely the new version is stunning. Stunning, of course. But yeah, that is it for all 10. But yeah, that's it for me for that. But really quick, I'm just gonna do a quick reading update real quick for you guys, and then a quick health update. So quick reading update, reading 2 books. I did not start this. This is The Fall of Lucifer by Wendy Alec, the first book in the Chronicles of Brothers. I have not read this book, but it's a fantasy novel about the archangels, which I believe are Michael, Gabriel, and Lucifer. I have not read this yet. I cannot wait to dive into this. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get into this really soon. I hope it's really good. I hope it's at least a 3.5 star, like at least, okay? But we have that. And then I am currently reading James R. Hannibal's The Paris Betrayal. I have read from James R. Hannibal before. I had 5 of his books, sorry. Oh, 4 or 5. Can't even recall. But yeah, I am reading this. Actually, I'm asking y'all, like, I don't even know. Yes, 4 of his books. Haha. I had to make sure I wasn't bugging. But yeah, I have 4 of his books. So I think the latest one he has is The Elysium Tide. But yeah, so far this is good. I am 117 pages in. I'm enjoying it. It's very comical. I think Ben Calix, he is comical. I think the spy information in here keeps it going, so I'm enjoying it nonetheless. But health update quickly. As I mentioned, I am now on the new regimen, and it has its good days, it has its interesting days. Nothing out of the whack. It just has me drowsy sometimes, because obviously some of the medication just has me drowsy. Luckily, most of the medication that has me drowsy are the meds that I have to take at night, which is fine. It works out better. I haven't had like a major migraine that I had to take all the medication, because like I did mention, I do have medicine that I have to take for when I have like, so okay, here's how I worked it out in my head. So when I have a migraine that's like a level 1, 3, I'm not taking like pain meds, pain reliever per se. I'm just taking my regular 3 pills, 3 medications that I have to take, because I'm technically taking automatically 6 pills a day. Okay, 3 meds, 6 pills a day, because one of the meds I have to take 4 of. So sounds like a lot, I know, but one of the meds I have to take 4 of, plus one that I'm taking every night and one that I have to take daily. So taking 3 meds daily. Okay, so when I'm having a migraine that's like a level 1 to 3, I don't take any extra meds. I don't feel like I have to. I feel like I can deal with that type of pain. Now once it gets to like a 4, 5, 6, there are 2 other medications that I can take. And with those pills, I think it's 4 pills I'm taking. It's 2 meds, 4 pills that I'm taking, if I'm not mistaken. However, if I have to take my nausea medication, with the nausea medication, I can take it up to 4 times, depending on how nauseous I'm feeling, right? It gets complicated because, you know, depending on how nauseous I'm feeling and if I'm relieved and all that extra stuff, right? But basically, depending on how nauseous I am and the level of pain that I'm feeling depends on how much medication I'm taking as well. Because with the nausea medication, I have to take one of the other medications, which requires me then to take more medication. And so it's been interesting because I've been nauseous, but I haven't been in pain. But because I have to take the nausea medication, I have to take the other medications, right? And so I haven't experienced any migraines over a level, I want to say 5, 6. And when I did experience a 5, 6, I was already taking the medication that I needed to take because I was nauseous. And so when I'm nauseous, I have to take that specific medication regardless. And so I haven't had to take the other medications, which has been good. And again, it's the end of the month, and so, you know, we'll see starting fresh for November. The app that the doctor has given me has been God sent, literally. The app is amazing. I did start my journal, which I can't show you guys because it's over there. I'm not getting up this bed, but I did have to start an actual written journal as well. So I have the app that I've showed you guys in that previous video, and I also have a written journal where I'm writing things down. In this journal, I just basically write down all the meds that I'm taking, what they're for, what they do, side effects, and information like that, because obviously on the bottles they have medicinal like names like topiramate and all these names I don't know. In the journals, I'm writing down exactly like what they're for, uses, things like that, that are more helpful for me to understand, so that I know what I'm putting in my body. Some people think that's excessive. For me, I think that it's making it clear so that I have an understanding of what I'm doing. So far, everything I researched is all safe, so that's a plus. But yeah, so far it's been okay. Like I said, I haven't had a migraine over a level 6. A level 6 is painful, but it's bearable, I guess, kind of, in a sense. I did get my glasses. My new glasses are going to be ready within a week, within 2 weeks. I did have to come out of pocket for my blue light filters, which didn't understand that, and so I do have my prescription, and I will be ordering glasses from somewhere else, so that will be happening. But I do have my new eyeglasses coming soon, so it's the same prescription, so I'll have these purple ones still, but I have some clear frames coming. All right, airplane, come on now, fly across. Sheesh. But I have some clear frames coming that I really like, and then I'll be ordering a few more glasses, plus my prescription sunglasses will be ordered soon as well, because I obviously need that. But yeah, it's only been a couple days. I think it's been 4 or 5 days. I can't think. 4 or 5 days, I think. It's been interesting, to say the least, but it is the weekend, and so just getting used to the regimen and making sure that I'm eating properly and staying hydrated with all of these things, right? So if you guys ever see me like not posting for a day or 2 days or a week or so, just know it's because I'm trying to get used to everything that's going on, or that I'm overly drowsy or anything like that. But I'm going to try to continue sticking to my schedule and things like that. But yeah, I'm going to go. I'm actually getting really tired, as you can see. So I'm going to go. I think I have to take one more pill tonight so I can go to sleep. So, not a pill for sleep, but I have to take one more pill before I go to sleep. But yeah, I'm gonna do that and rest for the rest of the night. It is the weekend. My son is gone. He's with his father. So, that's that. I'm gonna go. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. But I tag anybody who wants to do this tag to do it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.